All right, I'll start. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, once again. So today, a lecture or talk or discussion is regarding human resources and technology. But before jumping into the topic, I wanted to actually cover the coronavirus thing, which is like because of that we are in this situation. Now, as written in there, China recovers while other countries in process of containing it. Yeah, China has done tremendously in the past 3 months actually, because in China it started in December, and now there is no cases coming up there. So that's like one thing. Now, because of that, this virus now everyone these days we're not having summer vacations. It's like everyone is asked to work remotely. Okay. um, and even right now I'm working remotely on daily basis, even on Saturday. So, and I'm sure a few of you are also doing the same. Now now when we are working remotely, there are many aspects that we have to uh, let's say consider, and this remotely comes with a policy. That human resources of our university ask us to do this, and similarly in other organizations they're doing same thing. In private, especially in private organization, work remotely, and this means that it's a territory where you're working you're not familiar with. Even right now, I have to like make one room in my in my apartment here, which becomes like a mini temporary office. And yeah, and my family is, so I asked them to stay at some place for this session, so I'm not disturbing, or they're not disturbing me, and I'm not making you disturb while listening to me. So yeah, the policies are there in place, and we have to think about what type of policies that we can come up with as an HR people. Another national policy that's going around is universal policy, I call it, across 160 plus countries right now, is social distancing. Like, what is social distancing? Means staying away from close contact in public spaces. In offices, yeah, we do that. And now there's a national policy. And when we talk about HR and tech, we talk about social media. Yeah, so that is playing a big role here. So this is like another aspect that we have to carefully when we are writing down the policies. Now, again, how this thing's actually working, how Zoom is working, and there are many other applications out there that are working right now. It's like because of the empty offices, we are going into the remotely using technology and using cloud, working in clouds. So this is all part of technology movement, and HR is actually now they have to get involved in this thing, how it works, what are the dynamics of its working, and why people should be adaptable enough. Like I said, are we ready for this? All people are ready for this. Some people like to do recordings per lecture. Some people like to do live lectures, like what I'm doing right now. So it varies. Some people will not have capacity to absorb all this information, and some people are not competent enough to use this technology. Like for people who are in IT, engineers, software engineers, working for them on a computer is pretty normal because it's easy for them, and they're always doing some software development, writing codes, or statisticians are working on computers, accounts people are working on computers, Excel sheets and stuff like that. But let's say people who are actually working with clients, the customers, they're on the phone call every year, and they're moving, they have to go out, especially extrovert people behavior wise. So it becomes difficult. It is becoming difficult. However, there are advantages and there are disadvantages to it, and we'll cover that in a bit. Several reasons why we let people work remotely. Now, this is a question here. Why we are in this position that we have to do. Now, for this, let me just open another page here. I'll share something with you. Uh, of course, I came across this from the internet. 7 reasons why we let people work remotely. Okay, so I'm not going to detail. So let's start here. A lot of things about the workplace have changed, even in the last decade or so in the business. Silicon Valley gurus podcast hosts have urged us to work faster, smarter, and more effectively by doing everything micro dosing or on learning LSD or something like that. So let's just go on the reasons. Results are what really matters. So some organizations say that, okay, if you want to work remotely, fine, but we want productivity from you. Okay, if you want to have in a day, you want to go for a yoga class or you want to go for a snack, that's perfectly fine. We give you this freedom. However, results at the end of the day, we want that to happen. So that's one of the reasons. Different people work differently. So personality traits are there. Everyone's different. Some people wants to have casual places. Some people are fine with the, let's say, strict rules and instructions. But introverts may need more space and privacy. That's another area here. So we want to be flexible here. So different people work differently. We are flexible enough to actually make them in a position that, yeah, work uh, remotely, no problem. We have the tech, we have the facilities, we have the resources, we have the internet bandwidth. Like right now, I don't have fiber optics at my place at the moment, but still it's working, it's perfect. So if you have that setup, yeah, why not? Why not? E-commerce businesses are like that. Human resources, they want to see that if the tech available availability of the technology is there for those employees or not. If businesses are expanding, globalization, so you have one office in this city, another office in another city, and you have to like monitor them, what's going on. So you can actually put these, let's say, cameras and stuff like that. You can remotely access them through systems. It aligns with our values. So if your organization is for a change, it's for adaptability, it's for whatever they need, yeah, it is for them. Like learning organizations are there, so yeah, people like to be a part of innovation. Companies like IBM, Google, Facebook, they're quite innovative in that sense, and they have actually make sure that other organizations are there, even smaller organizations, they learn from such big giant companies. It helps us attract and retain talent. So what's this all about? The best people for the job are not always going to live in your county, city, or state. Allowing people to work remotely help us broaden our hiring pool so that we can find creative minds all over the country. Yeah. So yeah, you can actually. So outsourcing has become a part of working remotely. Outsourcing, it's only fair. Okay, so not everybody travels for their job, but we don't think certain rules should apply. So that's another thing. Remote work isn't a cure all. So yeah, there's a disadvantage over here that naturally they are not accepted that easily. So this is like one area I wanted to actually had a whole slide on this. That 7 reasons why we let people work remotely. Now, another area that is of importance here is the three U's of tech. Now, there is a research going on into the three U's. This research was done by Dr. Donald in United Kingdom back in almost a decade ago, and she presented a case of that in organization when there is a change is happening, let's say a technological change is happening of any sort, whether it's these days it's artificial intelligence, it's about robotics, it's about applicant tracking system for recruitment selection, and many other things. So she asked three questions here. Number one, is it useful? So we have to figure out that whether this technology that we want to adapt or there is a technology should we be using it? Is it useful to us? Is it useful for organization? It will be useful for the employees. What are the benefits? Is it useful? That's the first question that we should be asking as an HR people. Second is it usable? Okay, I'll give you an example here just to make it more clear. Is it usable? So it is. So we know that yeah, it's useful thing, but can people will use it? How many people will use it actually? Whether just one person will be using it or many will be using it, or it's helpful for everyone to use it. So that's another question, that is it usable. Or when it comes to usability, it also comes with it the design of this application, the design of this tool, design of this technology. Will that be good enough, user friendly enough for employees to work on it? Like these days, uh, using Zoom is easy for me, right? To be honest, because it didn't actually. Uh, was difficult. It's just 2, 3 clicks, and yes, it's easy to communicate with anybody. It's as easy as if I have to record an audio on a WhatsApp and send it. So we take about its design, we take about is it intuitive, uh, whether it's simpler than normal things that we are doing. At the same time, when it comes to usability, is it joyful? Does it give you pleasure? People have to enjoy these things. Now, the last thing is it used? So, so why people actually use it? So this is a question again. If someone is using it, let's say a few people are using it, why they're using it? Okay. So at the beginning, for example, just as an example, Facebook, 10 years ago, if one of your friends, your colleagues started using Facebook, you said, okay, he's using it. Let's try. Let's create our own account. Let's start using it. Okay. So you start, is it used? So you check from others if they are using it. So let us try also. Okay. So you will try it. And at the same time, there's this let's say take example of let me just give you an example of ticketing machines, right? Ticketing machines. Okay, now what I mean, now one is a ticketing machine at the train station, one is a ticketing machine at let's say airports. Okay, two ticketing machines. So people so what do you think, ticketing machine at the train station and ticketing machine at the airport, are they useful? That's one question. Yes, they are useful, but people do prefer to buy it from the window, from person to person. Mhm. That's another question. Is it usable? Do we need to use it? Now, the thing is, if there is a long queue to that window and there is another ticketing machine on the right side of it, and no one is using it, so and if there is a cobweb on it because no one is using it, is it usable? Uh, People are they just want to be more personal. Now, just to counter that, some train station actually asked there is a ticketing guy who's holding a machine, and then he actually goes on the queue and saying that I can give you electronic ticket very quickly. So some people started using it that way. Is it used? How many people are using it? Again, on the train station, I don't know. However, at the same time, if we take this from train station to this airport ticketing, now in the airport, so if you know that you can get your boarding pass through a machine very quickly rather than standing on the line of this checkout thing, this checking in at the airport, uh, is it useful? It's saving time. It's quick. So that could be one thing. Is it usable? Yeah, for sure. Is it used? If one person is using it, maybe other people start using it also. So it's adaptability. The three use of text is the adaptability thing. So we have to ask ourselves three questions about whatever technology that we're jumping into. These three things: is it useful? Is it usable? Is it used? At the same time, with that, there are three further things. We have our customers. There are like three types of customers here. Okay, so there's like three types of customers that we have. Number one customer is we call it visionary customer. A visionary customer, utilitarianism customer, okay, and third is customer in crisis. Customer in crisis. Let me just what's the spelling here? Spelling, yeah. Utilitarianism. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Spellings are fine. So there are three types of customers here. Now, what we mean by visionary? Now, these are the people, when it comes to technology, these are the people who are very excited about it. They are very enthusiastic about it. They're very motivated about it. And so they say, yeah, let's go and try it immediately. Okay. So whenever the Apple products are in the market coming in, you see long queues, long queues outside retail stores. Now, these are the people who want to test it very quickly. That's why we call them visionary customers. Now, the second is utilitarianism. Okay, now utilitarianism is the people who think that there are benefits of using it. It saves time, it saves energy, all right? Okay, it's doing our things, so why not to do it? Why not to jump on it and do it? Okay, so one is visionary. These are people are very excited, enthusiastic about new things, jumping into that new things. They are more adopters in that sense. They're more, let's say, Generation Z at the moment. And utilitarianism people is basically people who are taking as, yeah, we do this, it has benefits. We do this, we save money, we save time, we do this, or these is, so they have the logic and rationality behind it, a lot of that. So they jump into adapting the new technology. Last is customers in crisis. So basically, a customer in crisis basically means that, uh, for example, let me just give you another example of the ticketing system in the train. Let's say train is approaching in 2 minutes and there's a long queue, and with the person who's giving the tickets on the window, and there is a ticketing machine. So what you will do? What you will do at that time? You will jump. You will actually not wait on the long queue, and you will actually go to the ticketing machine immediately. Okay, that can happen. Or uh, okay, ticketing machine is there, train is coming, and there is so many things in the ticketing machine, so many options that you are not decided, oh, which to press to get the ticket, or should I go to the window? Understand? So there are customers in crisis, and that situation, that uncertain situation, makes them to jump and adapt to technology stuff. So just let me know that if everything is clear so far. Is it clear? On the chat box you can tell, or even unmute the mic. Is it clear all?
Yes, doctor, but the voice a little bit.
Okay, for some is clear, for some is not clear. Okay, I'll make sure that now you listen to me, because I'm holding the mic now. All right, let's jump into the chapter directly. Okay, let's jump into the chapter. All right, so human resource management and technology, from socio-technical system to social media. Now, in this chapter, I know, I'm sure, I don't know whether you like the slides or not of this chapter, but they're not that good. That's why I created a few of my own. So the first point over here is, are we optimistic about technology, or we are pessimistic about technology? So there has been some research done in 1964 and 1992, and we're talking about these technological changes that's happened inside organization, and they are changing the way we are working right now. Okay, they're changing the way, but are we ready for that? Are the customers are ready? The people are ready. For example, right now shopping malls are closed, so most of the people are asked to go online, buy stuff for themselves. Okay, so e-commerce business are going really good at the moment. uh, and for example, the stocks market, when it comes to market share right now, the stocks, which stocks are going up? The Netflix stocks are was going up at the start of coronavirus, because people are sitting home, quarantine, and watching Netflix. So going to cinemas, cinema stocks will be going down right now. So you understand these things? They're the dynamics here. Anyways, so optimistic technologies allowed workers to regain a sense of control over his technological environment that is usually absent in mass production factories. So that's, yeah. So technology gave them a control over their lots of operational functions. Yeah, that now this is. Just as an example, technology helps taking attendance. Technology helps in through the thumbprint. You're actually taking attendance of employees, staff. So technology is helping that. You don't actually have to put a person there counting one by one or calling their names in the office environment. However, there's a pessimistic approach to over here, and actually this gives the monitoring thing. Do people like to be monitored all the time? Technology enhanced firms' electronic eye over workers that allow management to monitor. Do we like that to happen all the time? Like someone is monitoring us at every time, so that there are some people are out there do not want to actually show that privacy. But on the other side, when it comes to HR, we cover that recruitment part or selection part. Lots of people, lots of organizations actually for reference checking, background checking, they actually go on social media. They want to see uh, this prospect candidate availability or presence in the social media, how they actually work, what they actually share on Twitter, what they share on Facebook, what type of profile they have on LinkedIn. So they actually monitor that. And these days, Generation Z, the digital age, or even the millennials, people who were born after 1980s, 85 onwards, they actually like to have personal branding on the social media. So they have actually changed a lot of the trends out there. We will cover the trend part in a bit because I have like opened like three things there. All right. So let's moving here the forward here. The importance of social relations. So right now we are socially distancing ourselves, but at the same time, technology helps us to create that relation. Scholars increasingly view technological change at work as social. Uh, so this is like using anything that we use on remotely. It helps creating, we keeping ourselves remotely connected. Right now, WHO, World Health Organization, is keeping an eye on every country who has coronavirus, and they are actually producing reports at which country has how many cases there. So they are connected globally. When they say that more than 165 countries now being affected by this virus, how closely they're connected through this technology, through internet, globalization. So technology is actually helping that. Now, workplace cultures, structures, and politics shape how technology is designed and implemented and used. So the structure, the workplace, there's a whole culture about it. So if the culture is there from the top, yeah, technology will be adapted, technology will be used, it will be perfectly fine for people to use it. It will be common thing. It will not have a dilemma of why this, why not this. All right, so before I jump into the next slide, and that is an example of a call center. Let me just give you some trends that are happening in HR. Trends in HR job titles. Okay, so I'll start with that. This is a very good website by hrtrendinstitute.com. Lots of information is here. So I came across this and I wanted to share with you. When it comes to the roles, HR people over the course of many years, HR roles have been changed, and lots of technology has to do a lot of it with that. So when you talk about the leader in HR, the list of HR job titles, okay, so the leader, so lots of changes have been there because of technology item. So let me just jump into, and by the way, your final project, when you're writing all these topics, different topic, the trends, so basically that is also part of, and it has to do a lot of with IT, globalization trends, analytics, right? So this field of analytics in HR has so many job titles. They say director HR analytics, director human capital analytics, people analytics, people system, workforce analytics, global master data, head of business behavior, data analyst, data and process specialist, HR tech lead. So these are the roles which are actually coming up again and again, which are actually making sure that technology is used. When it comes to HR operations, if you see the chat box operator, chat box tutor, so chat, human resource business partners, now they're actually working remotely also. So lots of and When you have innovation and other things, adventure coach, agile coach, design thinking facilitator, director HR transformation. So now HR scrum master, innovation X manager, SVP, HR digital. So there have been a lot of changes. When it comes to learning, now we're doing micro learning designs, online learning designers, performance consultants. So lots of things are happening here. And when it comes to onboarding, we are using applicant tracking system. So the AI recruiters are there. So basically wanted to actually highlight this, that there's so many things happening right now which have to deal with IT, the technological changes. And the list goes on and on. So transformation, HR transformation lead. And now moving on to another slide, thing that I opened, which is also very key here, from the same website. Do we need a standard approach to the employee experience? Because when the technology comes, we need our employees to have a good experience in that journey of adoption, in that journey of using that technology. So do we need a standard approach, or we just go out and just do it or experiment it, and with that experiment we learn from it? So, or it should be and because we need flexibility at the same time, because different people think differently, and different people take learning differently. Is there any other question? uh, is there a question for me? Right, I think so. All right, so three ways to approach the employee experience. Uh, I'm not going to read this. I'll share this with you on Blackboard, like other many other things that I've been sharing. A philosophy and approach to digital transformation. Okay, so yeah, there has to be a philosophy, like when we're introducing some system, how it will be adopted by the masses of the organization and employees. Can we do an index or survey with employees for engagement purpose? Now they have been used, for example, right? As faculty, we were given a training on Zoom. We were given a training on question mark. There's another setup like Blackboard, taking exam questions online. We were given a training on few other application also. Now I'm sure there are people who are struggling right now. So for a survey, should they give us a survey of how our experience with the training and now post training? So it's like pre-training. So pre-training readiness, whether we were ready, then there's the training, and then the post-training evaluation. So we should be doing that, I think. So if a minute technological adaptation is there, redesign journey and improve the interaction between employees. So if our post training, if we have employees are struggling, so how we will actually redesign it. So design thinking comes here to make the experience, the journey becomes more insightful or insightful or something like that. Better. The use of design thinking and people analytics is a common thread over here. Design thinking, people analytics, these things are happening. Lastly, they manage the employee experience with the cross-functional teams. So you actually mix them together, and then you learn from each other. So that's another area that are important. Now, so this was another approach that I wanted to actually discuss. Do we need a standard approach to employee experience? I wanted to discuss the trends in jobs titles, which has been mega trends, let's say, you can say that, with job titles. And lastly, that I want to discuss is gamification is becoming more popular. Again, this is all about HR, so gamification. Now, just let me read a few things here, a few lines here for you, and then we'll jump into the examples. Gamification is becoming more and more popular and is more widely used than ever. It comes down to using game principles and techniques in non-game context, so in management. So what exactly, how organizations are using this? How is gamification being used in HR? And let's jump into the assignments, examples here. 9 examples of gamification used in HR here. Marriott for recruitment. Okay, so Marriott Hotel is using for recruitment purpose. Uh, so they're by selecting candidates, they're using games. Now, what they're doing? Now, Marriott Hotel is a game. My Marriott Hotel is a game that has been developed by Marriott National Recruit newbies. It allows candidates to run their own virtual hotel in which they design their own restaurants, purchase inventory, train employees, and serve guests. It virtually simulates the whole experience to run a hotel business. Points are being awarded according to the customer service uh, the players provide. Okay, and they can also win points for every satisfied customer, and they lose points for poor customer service. Yeah, you see, gamification. Again, it come back to the technology part. Cisco in learning and development, Cisco is doing a lot here. Onboarding at Deloitte's. Now, Deloitte's, you all know that's the big international auditing company, digitalized and gamified their onboarding process. New employees form teams with other starters and learn about privacy, compliance, ethics, and procedures online. So they do that. Essential for cultivating a culture of collaboration. They do that. Now, this is another example of Belgium Hospital to for training new employees. So basically, what they do is uses 40 rooms for newcomers who haven't been able to practice some elementary things they will need in their jobs. Okay, so they're also doing the same thing here. Entity leadership, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, again, Phoenix Software for attracting and selecting candidates, they have a game actually. They play like employers are playing some employers actually send some current employees to actually work with the new candidates, prospect candidates, work on the game, and in that game, if they are successful, they pick few people from there. Okay, and I think so. This is a clip of 2-3 minutes. Should I play the clip, or should I keep it? Because if I play the clip, then I think this video will be very long. All right. I'll put this link on the blackboard so you can actually later on you can see the video, which is very good. US Air Force and Uncle Gray is like there's software that actually helps. It's a game kind of thing. Like I said, it's a game. LinkedIn for internal collaboration. They are using it now. Here they said LinkedIn worked with Flip Kart in India to organize their first recruiting hackathon, a fun way of getting teams together on challenging projects, namely chasing critical hard to fill open position in record time. So yeah, so gamification can be very powerful. So there have been lots of organizations have been using games to hire people. This is again an example of, let's say, technology and HR. All right. Are there any questions so far? Before I jump into the slides and we cover the remaining slides very quickly. Are there any questions? No questions? Hmm?
No, doctor.
Oh, that's brilliant. There's no question, then brilliant. All right, so now there's an example of a call center. Back in 2000, when the globalization thing happened, there's a Thomas Friedman wrote a book on globalization and said that the world is flat. Now he actually gave an example in this book of Google. If I write anything on Google search in America, and the same thing opens in India, and same thing opens in African countries, everywhere. So that's globalization happened, and then because of uh, outsourcing, call centers started to appear, and we lots of organizations started to use call center for outsourcing thing, and even right now use call centers in India, and this is all part of recruitment, how we recruit people there, how we actually standardize the thing. So automatic call distribution system was introduced within the dominant pattern of call centers. Practice management has indeed created a closely aligned set of arrangements. So this is like another area of social technical system. This is an example here. Electronic HR. So what actually HR IS do? It acquires, store, analyze, retrieve, distribute information on the HR environment. Very basic knowledge here. Workplace technology increasing use in HRM for HR planning, recruitment and selection, performance and management, technological reach between staff and firm, altering. So they've been using it. And in social media at work, as I already told you that we have been using social media for hiring, even some people actually use for firing also social media. If they have written something against their organization and they have found that on social media they're spreading bad branding for organization, they fire people. Over here, one of the research done in 2009, then they said 60% of business executives thought they have a right to know how workers profile themselves and their organization on social networks. Mm. So many executives think that they have a right to see the private social web pages of their employees, what they are sharing there. Okay, they have the right. 60%. 53% of employees felt that their social networking activities are not an employer's concern. And with 63% of 18 to 34-year-old respondents asserting that employers have no business monitoring their online activity. They don't have any right of doing that. What do you think? I think so. Yeah, they are quite good and they're quite, uh, yeah. Why not? Well, this is their concern. And at the same time, when the executives are saying that we should be profiling them, so this diagram appears, and it's basically employer terrain and employee terrain. They're just profiling three areas of mismatch. McDonald's Thomas 2015 research shows that there are three areas where employers is thinking of monitoring them and employees are thinking of that they should not be monitoring them. Now, again, lastly over here in this lies due diligence of human resources. So basically, when we're using social media, we have to be careful here. We have to make sure that we're not breaking any cultural values. We're not breaking any laws. We're using technology for our personal. We're using the technology for ease of work. To be honest, ease of business. Also, now at the beginning, if you remember, I actually told you that we will be trying to answer these questions. What are the main reasons for having a comprehensive human resource information system? What are the five most popular applications? And what is self-service and why it is important? So rather than me jumping directly, this is from the book of Handbook of Armstrong. Go to the summary of this chapter and it will actually give you all the answers here. So why? The reason of using a human resource information system coming from the CIPD directly. Top five reasons: to improve quality of information available, to reduce administrative burden on the HR department, to improve speed, to be flexible, and it gives service to employees. So these are the reasons that we use. That's why the purpose is there. In short, let's say it should be useful, it should be usable, and it should be used. So the three U's, remember that. Functions of a human resource, they actually the people are using it. They're using it absence management, training and development, rewards, when they're doing performance appraisals, automatic performance appraisals. For example, when you're filling the forms online, let's say every semester, this semester ends, you will fill a form on evaluating the instructors. When you're evaluating them, uh, the data will come in the form of Excel sheets. In Excel sheet, there will be some visual graphs that we can actually see, okay, where we are lacking. So yeah, it's all we're using the technology here. Statistics are there. Managing diversity. Managing diversity. It's like gender diversity, is age diversity. Uh, and we use that in our, like if we are setting up a team, for example, for project team, so we make sure that we use this background information and then we set up knowing their behaviors, knowing their experience, knowing their skills, knowing their knowledge. We actually then use that information in a form that actually gives us accurate decision making policy for making teams. Recruitment selection, as I already told you, that we use applicant tracking system there, which is like used by 95% of organizations these days. You just have to Google it and you'll find it out. And selection also. The features of human resource information system, the use of software integration with IT systems, use of intranet. So yeah, so lots of organizations are using this. Even our own university is using it. I'm sure government is using it. Take example of Sadat system itself. Ministry of Interior so nicely integrated it, and whatever we do, it comes. We want to buy something, we want to pay something. We can use Aadhaar for that purpose. So basically, this was all about HR and technology. Yeah, I don't have any other further information to share right now. Whatever I'll share on Blavo, that is enough for you people to understand that HR and technology usage is very important these days for employees. Just as a summary, we started. Uh, wow, I just closed the PowerPoint slide. So we basically started with uh, the coronavirus thing, the remote working thing, and why I started there was basically uh, this is at this time we are in a position where we actually testing. This is testing. So in testing times, normally in organization, testing times, actually the change happens, and that mostly that change is about technology and how people react to that change. That is one thing. In testing times, so that's why I started that example, that how we are coping with the technology, how we are adapting to it, how we've been trained for that. Yeah, there are some lacking, there are some issues, there are some technological issues there, but we are coping with that and everything. And then we discussed about the three U's. One is it useful? Is it usable? And it is used. So I gave you an example of a train station ticketing service with the airport ticketing service. And then I told you about the three customers. Mhm. So they are one customer is visionary, another is utilitarianism kind of a thing, the other is custom and crisis. So based on those things that we use the technology. Then we jump into the slides, positivistic, pessimistic things we learn about that, and then later on I jumped into some pages I shown you on trends of HR. Uh, and there's some 7 reasons why we're working remotely, and do we need to standard for approach to employee experience while adapting to change? And then later on, we have these Armstrong questions that I discussed. So this is chapter number 23 for you guys. If you have any questions regarding understanding of this chapter, do let me know. Do let us know, actually, Mr. Me or Dr. Faisal. And if you have any other questions regarding I think so. This was the last chapter that we are covering for the whole course. We're not actually covering any of the more chapters. So if you had any other questions or any doubts about any chapter topics, any about the quizzes or assignment projects or the final exam, do ask us on emails. Uh, so, do you have any questions? Anyone?
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Hamza. I have a question regarding the information HR information system. Do you think that the crisis that we are having here will affect directly and short term in the future, keeping what we are doing right now after the crisis because we found it more efficient, more useful than what we usually do in HR, or everything will be go back to what we are doing before, uh, and how?
It's an interesting question. Thinking that what we are doing right now, it's we are actually experimenting lots of things here these days. Whether this experiment will have a positive result, we have to evaluate it. Okay, evaluation will come in days to come, weeks to come. Actually, I'm not going to say that this experiment is successful and people should jump into it. For example, teaching remotely. Many countries in the West, they have been doing that for many ages, and we just started. So, and how many people are comfortable with that? Okay, so if you remember, at the beginning, I was using this remote working, and I was using the image of a person on space and trying to call using laptop on the space. Now, if this is just an example in a way that in space there are limited resources, limited equipment is there, and now people, when they have change in their organization, they find that we're not resourceful, we don't have the armory to actually cope with this change. Human resources comes there. Now human resources actually need to find a way to and give them this armory, give them this capacity of support, resources, trainings has to be there. And the more the training, more comfortable they are. So basically, right now, employers should be empathizing with employees in this tough time, tough situation. The more they empathize, employees will actually be more encouraged, more motivated, more engaged in this tough time. Yeah, my employer is saying this, so yeah, rather than pressurizing them. Because nothing can be achieved with pressure. Nothing can be achieved, nothing positive can be achieved if someone is forcing you to just do it, kind of a situation. For example, I just give you a small example here. We have a team of instructors in different courses. Like I also teach strategic management course, and we have a team of 4 people. Now we had a meeting almost 2 weeks back, while this when this was happening, that which we divided the work in a way that who will be giving the lectures, who will be taking care of the online thing, online, let's say, quizzes or midterms, who will be doing something extra. So we actually divided who is comfortable in what scenario. We did not actually say that every person should be doing this, okay? So we divided as a strength. We divided like this person has this strength, you do this. You have this strength, you do this. Rather than me jumping into saying, no, 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 you have to do it because everyone is doing it. You have to do it, okay? As I said, there are 3 types of people. One is visionary, one is person in, like he wants to save time and money, and he just do it. And the other person is person in crisis. Okay, there is no other option, I have to do it. But the quality of work will be bad. So your question, coming back to your question, that whether we will go back to our normal routine when this is how, yeah, we should actually, because this is an experiment phase. For some, experiment will not work, for some, experiment will work, but we have to create the culture of adopting this new system. And the culture is happen culture, actually you create culture with time. It just doesn't happen like this, because then when you set up the culture, then people you will hire will need to adapt to that culture very quickly. Okay, right now everyone is like, what type of things we have to do, how we should do it. So yeah, but thank you very much for the question. It's an interesting question. Uh, yeah, I hope I made answer your question. Any other question? Any other comment that anyone has? Anyone? No. Islam is saying no. So thank you very much. As promised, that the session will be for 1 hour. It was written there. So thank you very much. I wish everyone to have good
Excuse
health.
me, doctor.
Yeah.
We actually have a question regarding the quiz.
All right. Okay.
When are we supposed to have a second quiz, and if we are going to have one?
Yes, you will be having a quiz. I was discussing with Dr. Faisal even last night. Let me just. What do you have any suggestions which day of the week that you prefer to have a quiz? Now let me just tell you that the quiz will be for 2 chapters, not more than that. Okay, so whatever we started in the past, we will just take quiz for 2 chapters. If you're doing 2 quizzes, so there will be 2 chapters. Okay, so you tell me what day of the week you are comfortable to have the quiz. Now the quiz will not have it will not be a big quiz. It will have be a maybe 12 questions, 13 questions of MCQ based quiz, and maximum for 15 minutes, not more than that. So we're not going to pressurize you psychologically. Already people are not they're under stress because of this coronavirus, so we're not going to stress you a lot here. So you tell me which day is preferable. You can discuss that in the WhatsApp group, which day is preferable, and just let us know so we prepare that. Okay. So what I can tell you that we have to do the quiz thing in the next 2 weeks time, within the next 2 weeks time. It's like the next week and the week after. We have to do the quiz in next 2 weeks time. Okay. Whether we do 2 quizzes or 1 quiz, we'll decide that later, but you have to give us the date and time. I just wanted to be more comfortable here with you people.
Doctor, we will discuss it together and then we will send you an email. We're going to give you an answer like very soon. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
Thank you.
Any other questions that you have?
Regarding the project that we're supposed to submit,
Yeah.
we don't have a date set. And we were also asking if, I mean, some of us were asking if we can just submit the critical review instead of actually writing the group report. So we have it as an individual work instead of having it as a group work because of what, the time. We cannot really meet. So it's difficult for us to discuss one project that we have to all submit at the same time. So that's why maybe we thought if we change that into individual submission would be more suitable for the current circumstances.
All right. So rather than having a combined critical review, you want to submit individually.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. I have to go back to Dr. Faisal on this because uh, he actually made this project.
Dr. Hamza, can you listen?
Yeah.
Can you?
Wow.
Okay, can you hear me? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Dr.
Assalamu
Faisal is
alaikum,
there.
everyone. I was actually being the quiet guy, trying to listen to you all having this wonderful talk. Thank you very much, Mr. Hamza, for delivering this lecture. Yes, I think considering that the group formations is quite difficult at this frame of time. So I guess you can work on your individual papers. I will revise although I've already revised the project, but then what I'm going to do is take out the group formations from that. So then it will become an individual effort from you guys that you will work on a paper, write your critical review, and then submit it online on the Blackboard. So I think you're right that that needs to be changed as well. So yes, okay.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Welcome.
So
over to you, Hamza. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I had no idea that you were in the room. So anyway, so is there any other questions regarding because Dr. Faisal is here, being the course leader of the course, you can actually ask him any question regarding the upcoming the quizzes that we're thinking about, or project submission, or even the lessons that we have covered so far in the course. If you have noticed on Blackboard, there are many extra documents that I've been uploading on the Blackboard other than the chapters. So they are for you. You can actually go through them. They're very simple English written documents from CIPD website. Fact sheets are there. So you can actually go through them. Easy to understand. To just, let's say, make yourself more aware of how things are happening around the HR department area. If there is nothing else right now, I'll be just closing this meeting, and I will be wishing you all a very good health to you and your family members.
Thank you, Doctor. Which chapter we should print now? Could you set the number for the chapter?
Yes, Dr. Faisal. We actually haven't I discussed that. Which chapter we...
Yeah. Are you talking about the chapters we have covered or for the quiz?
For today. Both, Doctor, both.
Yeah. Today, I think it was chapter 23. It was technology. Is it correct, Hamza?
Yes, it was chapter number 23.
Yeah.
And
so what I've done is I've revised the course outline as well. And in that, I've deleted those chapters which we have not covered, so that you would know exactly which chapters are there now. So you can go and have a look onto that, the revised course outline that is posted on the Blackboard. So you can see that.
how many chapters, Doctor, should it be? 5 or 6?
Right now, we are talking about quiz. So for quiz, only 2 chapters. So that's where right. We have not thought about final, so probably what we will think about, if we do certain quizzes on certain chapter, maybe me and Mr. Hamza has to sit down, and then we can talk about which chapter should we include and exclude.
And about
Okay,
the 23?
This one was chapter 23, which Mr. Hamza has just gone through. It's technology part.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. I wish you again a good afternoon and good evening and good night. So hopefully we'll have another session maybe in the future. So till then, take care. Assalamu alaikum.